1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister leaves for Switzerland tomorrow to attend the World Economic Forum at Davos. The Foreign Minister has urged diplomats to protect interests of the country at all costs. The Economic Coordination Committee has approved the import of 300,000 tons of wheat to overcome the shortage in the country. In occupied Kashmir, the Indian troops in the fresh act of state terrorism martyred 3 Kashmiri youths in Shupaiya district today. In Myanmar, the Commission of Inquiry has found reasonable grounds that security forces were responsible for war crimes and serious human rights violations against the Rohingyas. Radio Pakistan has made elaborate arrangements to broadcast running commentary on Pakistan and Bangladesh T20 and ODI matches. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan will attend the World Economic Forum at Davos, Switzerland, starting from tomorrow. He has been invited to attend the forum by the founder and executive chairman of the forum, Professor Klaus Schwab. The thematic focus of this year's session is on stakeholders for a cohesive and sustainable world. 2 key highlights of the visit include the Prime Minister's keynote address at the World Economic Forum's special session and his interaction at the Pakistan Strategy Dialogue with chief executive officers and corporate leaders. On the sidelines, the Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with several world leaders, including the American President Donald Trump. Prime Minister Imran Khan has directed to abolish around 150 licenses required for various business activities at the local level. Chairing a meeting on licensing regime in the provinces in Islamabad today, he also directed the provincial governments to eliminate 74 different licenses of this nature. Imran Khan directed to simplify the process for necessary licenses and introduction of automated system by employing modern technology. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has urged the diplomats to protect the interests of the country at all costs. Addressing the graduation ceremony of diplomats at the Foreign Service Academy in Islamabad today, he said heavy responsibility lies on the shoulders of Pakistani diplomats to cope with the challenges of changing times. He said competition between old and new global power hubs pose challenges for Pakistan's foreign policy. He said new alignments are taking place in the world, with Asia becoming pivotal to global politics. The Economic Coordination Committee, at its meeting in Islamabad today with the advisor to the Prime Minister on Finance, Dr. Abdul Hafiz Sheikh, approved the import of 300,000 tons of wheat. The ECC meeting was informed that the first shipment of wheat is likely to arrive in the country by the 15th of next month. The committee asked Punjab and PASCO to release their stocks to overcome wheat shortage in the country. The Economic Coordination Committee also directed to waive off gas infrastructure development cess on urea worth 400 rupees per bag on the directives of the Prime Minister Imran Khan. According to the Prime Minister office, the move will help bring reduction of 20% in prices of urea. Earlier, this additional amount was charged from farmers and gas infrastructure development cess. The Prime Minister had directed the Economic Coordination Committee to take immediate steps to reduce the prices of urea to provide relief to the farming community. The Senate today passed 4 resolutions. The first resolution recommended the government that scholarships for admission in medical and dental colleges granted to the students of Balochistan and FATA by the Higher Education Commission be maintained and extended till 2022. The second resolution urged the government to take all necessary steps in coordination with the provincial governments to bring down the rate of population growth. The third resolution recommended that the government should take necessary steps to implement the Ease of Doing Business program initiated by the present government in letter and spirit. The fourth resolution urged the government to take immediate steps to provide official accommodations to all employees working in government and semi-government departments. This is Radio Pakistan. Former Prime Minister of Azad Jammu and Kashmir Sardar Sikandar Hayat Khan and Barrister Sultan Mahmood Chaudhry called on the Prime Minister Imran Khan in Islamabad today and discussed the situation in occupied Kashmir. They also discussed matters pertaining to the preparations being made to observe the Kashmir Solidarity Day on the 5th of next month. Sardar Sikandar Hayat Khan applauded Prime Minister Imran Khan's efforts for effectively and forcefully presenting the Kashmir dispute at the international level. Issues related to politics and developments of Azad Kashmir also came under discussion during the meeting. In occupied Kashmir, the Indian troops in the fresh act of state terrorism martyred 3 Kashmiri youths in Shupaiya district today. A house was destroyed when the troops used heavy weapons and inflammable chemical during the operation in Wachi area of the district. According to the latest reports, the Indian forces blocked all the entry and exit points and started house-to-house search operations in the area. Meanwhile, amid continued military siege and lockdown on the 169th consecutive day in the occupied territory today, restrictions have been further tightened in the name of security, days ahead of India's Republic Day. In Myanmar, the Commission of Inquiry says there are reasonable grounds to conclude that security forces were responsible for possible war crimes and serious human rights violations during a military-led crackdown against the Rohingyas in 2017. More than 730,000 Rohingya fled Rakhine State during weeks of brutal violence. The United Nations has already stated that gang rapes and mass killings were carried out with genocidal intent. In Iraq, 2 persons were killed and over 60 injured in clashes between Iraqi security forces and protesters in Baghdad today. The casualties occurred when security forces tried to disperse protesters near the Muhammad al-Qasim highway in central Baghdad. In Syria, 5 civilians were killed while 9 others were injured due to Russian airstrikes in Idlib today. According to the Syrian Opposition Aircraft Observatory, Russian warplanes targeted the rural areas of northwestern Aleppo province this morning. The German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas has termed Berlin Conference on Libya as successful with agreement on new steps to support ceasefire and observe arms embargo. Speaking to reporters ahead of the European Union foreign ministers meeting in Brussels, Heiko Maas said his country will host a follow-up conference for Libya peace talks next month. The Bangladesh cricket team is visiting Pakistan to play 3 T20 matches, 2 test matches and a one-day match in Pakistan from Friday next to 9th of April. These matches will be played in Lahore, Karachi and Rawalpindi. Radio Pakistan has made elaborate arrangements to broadcast live ball-to-ball running commentary on all the matches on its medium wave network. And finally, the weather. Cloudy weather is likely to prevail in upper parts of the country during the next 24 hours. However, rain with snowfall over mountains is expected at a few places in Islamabad, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, Upper Punjab and Kashmir. Fog is likely to prevail in districts of South Punjab and Upper Sindh during morning and night hours. Cold and dry weather is expected in other parts of the country. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.